Hey there, sports fans. This is Cal the Constructor. Welcome to Budget Dragon Highlander. In this week's episode, we are testing the new format, Brawl. It's just like Commander, with 60 cards that have to be standard legal. Life totals start at 30, and legendary creatures and planeswalkers can be used as commanders. We are happy to welcome Gabe back to the show this week, but Larry did have to miss for family. Let's look to the scoreboard and see how the players are faring so far. After last week's Dominaria action, Matt brought home the win with another Voltron deck. Matt is still in the lead with 3 wins, and he took the Knockouts title with 5. The referees determined that there was a misplay by Calvin last week with a bad mulligan. Click the links below to see the deck lists, and please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you like what you see, please help the channel by supporting us on Patreon and follow us on Twitter. Let's get to the game. I'm going to get things kicked off by playing a Sheltered Thicket tapped, and then I will pass my turn.
I'm just going to go ahead and play a Plains this turn and pass turn.
And I will do the same with the exception I'm going to throw down a Forest and drop a Shaper Sanctuary.
This week, my deck features Samut, Voice of Dissent, as the commander. I tried to use as much of the Exert as I could because I knew that Samut could untap my creatures, so I used things like Combat Celebrant and Glorybringer, who have a lot of value when they exert, and then also Resolute Survivors gives me extra bonuses when my creatures exert, trying to get a little bit of extra damage in over the top. And then I used cards like Radiant Destiny to be able to give all of my creatures vigilance, because once I can exert for free every turn, it really turns the deck on. So I used a lot of warriors to also be able to get the tribal buff off of Radiant Destiny, and I think that this deck is really going to be able to work for me. I'm going to put a Tranquil Expanse into play tapped, and then I'll pass turn.
I'm going to play an island and go ahead and cast Dowsing Dagger.
Who are you going to give the plant tokens to?
I'm going to give them to you, Calvin.
Thanks, I sure appreciate that.
Throwing down an island and putting Brawl in there.
Hey there, Matt. Tell us what your deck does this week.
So this week I'm playing Wrath Capuchin Ship's Mage. For all intensive purposes, he's my commander because A, he has flash and he has flying. So for Brawl, a limited format, flying's really good. For 3/3, it's pretty good. The other cool thing is he can cast historic spells as though they had flash. I don't use this a whole lot when playing this deck. However, it has its functions. I just needed him for the colors and because he had flying, really. But my deck wins off of Approach of the Second Sun. And to move on to the next card, Commit and Memory. Basically, Commit's in here for whenever I play Approach, I can immediately put it 2 cards from the top. So hopefully I can play a draw 2 spell and get Approach back to my hand real quickly. As foretold, when you get it out early, hopefully I'm trying to get it up to enough counters to where I can cast Approach for free or cast some of the counter spells I have in my deck for free. And then another way that I can get Approach back to my hand is with Induced Amnesia. Being able to just exile my hand and then draw a new one, and Approach is gonna be back in my hand for 3 mana is really nice. So that's what I'm trying to do this week. That was fast.
God bless the opening hand.
I'm going to go ahead and play a mountain, and then I'm going to drop Combat Celebrant, and I'll end my turn. go ahead and get that on the battlefield before you can counterspell it, right, Gabe?
Mayhaps.
I'm going to play Plains and then tap out. No, I'm not. And then tap 2 and copy Gabe.
Yay!
There's been a lot of talk about trying to set up a new ban list for Brawl so that Brawl can get banned. I don't think that's really necessary. There's so much removal. I mean, he didn't take over Modern. He hasn't taken over Standard. There's too many ways to get rid of him. Okay, Gabe, what does your deck do this week?
Well, this week I'm playing with Rashmi as my commander, and she's pretty much all about whenever I cast my first turn, which I really enjoy that particular little bit of dialogue there. If it's a non-land card with a mana cost of less than that spell's cost, I can play it for free pretty much. So that's one reason I tried to make as many counter spells in here as I possibly could, or at least, cheap cards that would let me lessen the cost of my spells and instants or sorceries. Aside from that, I have As Foretold, which lets me put a counter on it at the beginning. And then once each turn, I can pay the mana cost of a card using As Foretold and basically play it for free. Secondly, I have Nezahal Primal Tide, which is a 7/7. It can't be countered, and it makes me have no maximum hand size. And then if an opponent casts a non-creature spell, I get to draw a card. And then if I discard 3 cards, I can exile Nezahal and then return him to the battlefield at step. At my next end step. So, and then thirdly, I have Path of Discovery. If a creature enters the battlefield under my control, it explores. So that way I'm either putting a land in my hand or I'm putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature of mine. Then lastly, I also do have Brawl, so that makes my spells, or at least my instants and sorceries, cost less. And then, if I counter somebody's stuff, I get to draw a card, all burning a card. So pretty much this deck is all about, having a lot of cards in hand and being able to do a bunch of different stuff and paying less or not paying the mana cost at all.
Yeah, it's not like he's impervious. He's really good in this format, but to say that he breaks it would be a little much.
I'm going to play this Evolving Wilds. 1 and a white for a Gust Walker. I think that's going to do it for me.
I'm going to tap 3 and play a Hierophant's Chalice. Calvin, you will lose 1 life, and I will gain 1 life.
Seems like a solid rock.
And I'm throwing down Pyramid of the Pantheon.
Gabe, at the end of your turn, I'm going to crack this Evolving Wilds. Put this Plains in a play tapped, and then move on to my turn. I'm going to tap out and play Vizier of the True. Gabe, do you have any response?
Yes, I do.
That seems like a good response. I'll just go ahead and go to the end of my turn.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to go ahead and go to the end of my turn.
And I shall do the same.
Punt. Punt. I'm going to tap 3 and play Beneath the Sands and go dig for a basic land, put it into play tapped.
In response, I'm going to tap 2 blue and 1 to copy Beneath the Sands.
In response, I'm going to cast Wrath.
Excellent. So Gabe and I are both going to go digging for lands.
Good use of Insidious Will there, Gabe.
It was useful for what it needed to be.
Okay, I'm going to continue on with my turn. I'm going to tap a red for Crash Through to give my creatures trample until end of turn and draw a card. I'm going to play this Inspiring Vantage as my land for turn. A little late in the game for that, but whatever.
We can't control when we draw the cards.
And then I will end my turn.
I'm going to go ahead and cast, or play Plains. I'm going to pay 1 island for a Curious Obsession, attaching it to Wrath. And then I'm going to pay 2 to attach Dowsing Dagger, or equip it. I'll move to combat, and I'm going to swing 6 at you, Gabe.
Well, I can't block, so there's that.
Alright, I'm going to draw my card off of Curious Obsession, and then transform Dowsing Dagger. And I'll go ahead and end my turn.
Tapping 2 blue to add a green to my mana pool and to put a brick counter on Pyramid. And I'm going to end my turn there.
I'm going to tap 2 and a green to play Grow from the Ashes to go dig for another land. Any responses?
Not here.
And this one enters
You're good.
untapped. I'm going to tap 1 red and white and cast Resolute Survivors.
No. I am going to cast Supreme Will for the counter it unless you pay 3.
I do not have 3 to pay.
I will draw a card, and I'm going to discard Gideon.
That will end my turn.
Play my island, and I'm going to cast Prying Blade, and then I'm going to go ahead and equip it. I'll move to combat, and I'm going to swing 5 at you, Calvin.
Taken 5.
Go ahead and draw,
And make a treasure.
and then I'm going to go ahead and cast Primal Amulet. Sorry, I didn't even tap the treasure, I meant to tap the plains. And that'll be the end of my turn.
Tapping 2 and tapping Pyramid of the Pantheon to add a green to my mana pool. Using that 1 green to cast Llanowar Elves. And I'm going to end my turn there.
I'm going to play a Sun Petal Grove. I'm going to tap 5 and play Gideon, Martial Paragon.
No response here.
I will respond. I'm going to pay 3 and cast Spell Swindle.
And that will be the end of my turn.
I'm not going to draw the card off Brawl, but I do get a token to Primal Amulet. Play my island. I'm going to go to combat, and I'm going to swing Wrath at you, Calvin. Gonna create my treasure and draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and cast Curator of Mysteries. And I'll go to my end phase.
Tapping 2 and Pyramid to add a green to my mana pool. And yeah, I'm going to call it there.
Tap 5 and cast Samut, Voice of Dissent.
I have no response.
Neither do I.
Okay. Well, I'm not used to my spells resolving, so give me a minute to see if I want to do anything else with my turn. I'll go to end phase.
At the end of your turn, I'm going to play Pull of Tomorrow for 10. Gonna play my island for turn. I'm gonna pay 1 and pay 2. And cast Cartouche of Knowledge and targeting Brawl. I'm gonna go to combat and swing Wrath into you, Gabe. Alright, I'm gonna pay 2 for Thematic Compass. I'm going to cycle Compelling Argument. I'm going to cast Chart a Course. I'm going to draw 2 cards, and then I do not have to discard. And then I'm going to cast Inspiration.
And put the 4th counter on Primal Amulet, right?
Correct. Which transforms it. And then using Primal Wellspring, I'm going to cast Opt. And I'm going to go to my end phase, triggering Thematic Compass first, and then discarding.
Putting down Botanical Sanctum. Tapping Pyramid of the Pantheon for 3 green and a blue. And casting Lifecrafter's Gift unless anybody has any response.
No, that's good.
And I need to untap 1 mana. And I'm casting that until Matt counters it.
It's good.
I'm going to put this Scattered Groves into play tapped. I'm going to tap 2 and 2 white for an Angel of Condemnation.
No response.
I'm going to go ahead and use its Exert ability, and I will exile Wrath Capuchin.
In response, I'm going to tap Spire. No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm going to tap Lost Veil. This is going to be a little silly. And play Legion's Landing. Using the other 2 white I have. Because I didn't say. That's all I'm going to do.
I'm going to tap a white to tap Samut and untap my Angel of Condemnation. Gabe, I think I'm going to get in there for 3. And then I'm going to end my turn. Hot daggone, the aggro deck finally decided to use a combat phase.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cast Approach of the Second Sun. No response.
Nope.
In response to casting Approach, I am going to cast Commit. Targeting Approach.
You don't gain the life.
Oh, you're correct.
Do you have a response to commit, Gabe?
No.
I'm going to go ahead and pay 1 white to cast Sphinx's Decree.
Still no response.
Alright. And that's the end of my turn.
And I can't do a damn thing, so that's my turn.
play a Plains for turn. Tap 5, play a True Heart Twins. So I'm going to swing out. True Heart Twins says whenever I exert a creature, all my creatures get +1/+0. I am exerting True Heart Twins, the Gust Walker, and the Combat Celebrant. So that untaps True Heart Twins. Okay, there we go.
Why does everything have +3?
Because True Heart Twins says whenever a creature exerts, all my creatures get +1/+0. I'm exerting the True Heart Twins, the Gust Walker, and the Combat Celebrant. So that's 3 triggers.
Okay.
Matt, I'm swinging at you with all the nonsense. The Gust Walker and the Angel of Condemnation are the 2 that have flying. The others do not.
That's fine. I am going to go ahead and do Spires to say Combat Celebrant cannot attack. And then I will assign Curator here and Brawl there.
Okay, in response to the declaration of blockers, exile Curator of Mysteries.
Yes.
And that'll be exerted, so then all my creatures get +1/+0.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. The Gust Walker got blocked and swaps with Brawl. Is that correct?
Correct.
You're taking 14 from Samut. Is that and 7 from Angel of Condemnation?
I missed the double strike. You are correct. 14 is 7 is 21.
And then I'll go to second combat.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to swing with Combat Celebrant, who may not be exerted again. I will swing with True Heart Twins, who can be exerted again, and I will swing with Samut. And then second main, I'm going to use white mana to tap Samut to undep the Combat Celebrant, and I'll end my turn.
All right, let's see if this works here. Tapping Pyramid of the Pantheon for 3 green. I'm casting Strength of the Pack to put 2 +1/+1 counters on all my stuff.
Trigger Rash me.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in my hand. Alrighty, when Armorcraft Judge enters the battlefield, I've got a couple of triggers to resolve. First of which is Path of Discovery. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the graveyard. Next, I get to draw a card for each creature I have with a +1/+1 counter. Playing my mana for the turn, which is Woodland Stream. And that will... Yes, that will be my turn.
I'm going to play a Mountain for turn. I'm just going to end my turn. Go ahead, get.
I tapped 2 to play Druid of the Cowl, and then I tapped Pyramid of the Pantheon to add 3 colorless to my mana pool to play Manalith. And then I'm going to end my turn there.
I'm going to tap 2 and a white and exert Angel of Condemnation to exile Brawl.
You do get to draw a card, though.
I'm going to tap a white and tap Samut, and then tap Angel of Condemnation again and exert it again, and I will exile the Armorcraft Judge.
So should I happen to last past this or this turn rather, who comes back?
Nobody. Those were both on exerts, so they stay out. I should have played this earlier. I didn't count the mana properly. I'm going to cast this Hooded Brawler.
No, you're not.
I cannot pay 5, so Hooded Brawler is countered.
And that was my first spell of the turn, so I get to draw a card.
I'm going to end my turn there.
Tapping Woodland Stream and the other multicolor lane there. And a green, as foretold.
Better late than never, I guess.
Tapping Pyramid of the Pantheon. And a forest for Herald of the Sacred Streams. Creatures with counters.
Trigger.
And I get to explore. Yep. And then, well, why not? Let's do it. And that's my turn.
I'm going to tap 2 and play a Battlefield Scavenger.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first declaration of attackers, but there's a bunch of triggers on the stack, so I apologize. So I exerted 3 creatures, so that let True Heart Twins trigger 3 times. All my creatures got +3/+2. Now Combat Celebrant is going to trigger, and I get to untap all creatures that aren't Combat Celebrant. And then I am going to not use the Battlefield Scavenger ability any of the times, but he did exert when he attacked. So that is the first declaration of attackers, and go ahead and declare blockers, Gabe. None of it has flying. Samut does have double strike. And that left the Scavenger and the True Heart Twins unblocked. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll now go to my second attack step, and I will swing with Samut. Well, there you have it, sports fans. Another one in the books. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit us up on Patreon and Twitter, and come back next week for the next episode of Budget Dragon Highlander.